Carol Angela Davis. Thank you for joining me for your daily dose of news. It's Monday. It's June 20th, 2011. We're going to begin with some state and local news. We take you to the state of Ohio, which I have to ask the question, is Ohio nuts? I have to ask the question. That state is on the verge of allowing people with concealed carry permits. Well, Ohio's going to allow them to take those little guns into facilities that serve alcohol, including bars, restaurants, and sports stadiums. Yeah, there you go. Well, there's a whole lot of people that could get hurt. The Ohioans, in my opinion, are really losing it. A bunch of drunk people with guns. I mean, let's face it, it is a recipe for disaster. Is anyone thinking there? You can say thank you to the Republican-controlled legislature for this little benefit for the folks who live in the great state of Ohio. It has already passed the legislation. Sent it to the governor, Governor John Kasich. He says he is going to sign it. Ohio is among 9 states, we should tell you, that generally prohibit firearms where alcohol is served and consumed. But Ohio beats every state by adding the little provision allowing you to bring your gun into the sports stadium. That's right, folks. You can bring it right in. Now, let's just say you can't consume alcohol there when you have your gun, but let's just say you get drunk before you get there. You get there. Somebody says something you don't like. You happen to have your gun. It's loaded. You pull it out. You shoot around a few rounds off. Maybe you hit 100 people. This is Ohio. These people are not thinking here. So many people could be injured by some moron. Well, for the record, if the Ohio governor does sign the law, then people will no longer be prohibited from carrying those concealed weapons into roughly 17,000 facilities where alcohol is served and consumed as long as they do not drink. The law will also allow a person with the proper permit to have a loaded handgun in a vehicle, even if the gun is not in a holster or other proper container. We should tell you, as long as the person is not violating any other legal restrictions. We should also tell you that, again, among the facilities that will be affected, those restaurants, the bars, the sports stadiums, the nightclubs, the shopping malls. You could now be shot in a shopping mall. I think that happened in Arizona, outside of a shopping mall. I think Representative Kathy Giffords was, of course, the person who was survived, but, you know, a whole lot of people died. And museums, yeah, you could go into a museum and some moron's been drinking and he's nuts. You go into a museum, he happens to have his gun, and instead of visiting the relic, you're going to become a relic, okay? This is no joke, these guns. All right, let's go to some business news over at Deluxe Corp. You should know that company is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. The stock symbol is DLX, in case you're interested. Well, there's a new survey of more than 500 social media savvy entrepreneurs. A survey says most started their businesses as a result of a personal passion. In fact, about 75% of them started their business to pursue a personal goal. Only 10% started their businesses after losing employment elsewhere. Other areas of interest are coming out of the Small Business Owners Survey, being their own boss. A third of those surveys started their business while working at another job, and guess what? 63% of them said they would not take a job elsewhere if they were offered one. More than 2/3 of them are raising families. And what about the challenges that they are facing? Well, in this economy particularly, well, using effective marketing was the most common, nearly half. We're talking 49% claimed reaching customers with limited resources is their most difficult challenge, while only 19% pointed to managing cost and only 12% to securing credit as a big challenge. Now, some not so good news for our teens. Flash mobs are a real problem, and the problem is getting worse. They're being used to plan very bold robberies. Police say the crimes are put together by young teenagers through various social media outlets, most notably Twitter. The suspects select a time and place and enter a store in droves, taking everything they can get their hands on before security and the police can catch them. Some of the most brazen robberies are taking place right in the light of day, before, again, as we said, security and the police can catch up. Last month in Las Vegas, 20 teens were caught on camera as they robbed a convenience store. They stole about $600 worth of merchandise, and they took the clerk's cell phone. In Chicago, Filene's Basement, the North Face, and Filene's, all of them have been targeted by flash mobs. We should also tell you in Minnesota. In St. Paul, in February, police say about 50 teenagers swarmed a busy convenience store and stole everything in sight. 2 teenagers were shot. Oh, yeah. And we should also tell you in St. Paul, a BP gas station was robbed by about 20 teenagers. Let's move on to the oh my God category. Is it true that Mexican crime syndicates are taking over the pipeline system of Mexico's state oil monopoly? Authorities in Mexico, that's what they're saying. They say organized crime is stealing more and more fuel, and they're doing it at a faster and faster pace. As an example, the CEO of Petróleos Mexicanos, he says the total amount of fuel, including crude oil, gasoline, diesel, and liquefied petroleum gas taken during the first 4 months of the year, the first 4 months of this year, is already more than they stole during the entire time last year, okay? We're talking about an estimated $250 million worth of fuel. We're talking about 1 million barrels. Now, we should know that Mexico does rely on oil sales for about a third of its revenue. Apparently, this is part of the new expanded criminal operation of gangs as they branch out from their traditional drug trafficking. And then finally today, why couldn't this be me or you? Okay, how about this? From Salt Lake City, a homeless man is now pretty darn rich. A private investigator tracked down Max Melitzer. He was pushing a shopping cart through a park in Salt Lake City. Apparently, the man's brother died of cancer last year and left him some money, and a pretty significant amount of money. Melitzer's family members are going to come to Salt Lake City to talk to him. They've been trying to be in touch with him, but he lost contact with them. He lost correspondence mail with them last year. He's been out of touch with them for years, and he's been homeless for about 4 years. Authorities say he'd even been sleeping in a car in a salvage yard. And now, thank goodness, he can get himself a place to live, a warm place to live. He can get himself health insurance. Now, that's a new concept here in America. I'll tell you, the guy can get health insurance. I take my hat off to him. So, we're happy that he's okay, and we hope that you're okay. This is your news for Monday, June 20th, 2011. I'm Carol Angela Davis, coming to you via Skype. Join me on Twitter, Carol Angela D. Follow me on Facebook, Carol Angela Davis, and please follow me on Tumblr as well, Carol Angela Davis. Thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow, same time, same place, new stories. We'll see you then.